Hi, I'm Jen. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this message. Um, it's basically taking a few moments of your time to mention about an offer that we have on Repose, our Good Night Sleep in a Jar cream, that is to support Mind, the charity Mind, and £6 from every purchase is going to Mind Charity. But not only that, Temple Spa are giving you the option that when you buy one pot, you get another one for free. So that's not the only reason that I'm mentioning this. It's because I believe that mental health, we all have a mental health, and often I've either had a partner that's suffered or we ourselves have suffered. And I just want to share a little bit of my story, and that is to do with when I was pregnant with my second child. My husband got diagnosed with stress, anxiety, and depression. And I suppose this message is to say what not to do, because as a wife I actually made him worse, because I'd say things to him like, what's wrong with you? You should be really happy. Is it me? Have I caused you to feel like that? And felt rejected, which were the worst thing that I could have possibly done, because it wasn't anything to do with me. As I've spoke to Richard, he'd say, well, I'm overthinking things and thinking the worst case scenario and going over it in my mind, and then I'm feeling it as though it is, and then that's causing me to have a panic attack. So me being rational, I'm like, well, just stop thinking like that then. But it's not that easy. And it was really, really hard for me to experience that and know the right thing to say, and especially as somebody that, like now, that's a life coach, a personal trainer, and who works with Temple Spa and really believes in empowering others and building them up. I actually felt like a failure. Felt like I couldn't help him. I wasn't really helping him by some of the things that I was saying. But over time, through communicating with each other, we learnt to get through it together, and I learnt not to take it personal. I became mindful over how I spoke to him, and actually having a bit of self-awareness in understanding when it came upon him. I would say, you all right, Rich? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm fine. I'd be like, no, I sense that there's something that you want to talk about. I want to listen. Let's sit down and have a cuppa and talk. And in doing that, he'd say, well, I'm worrying about money, or if I'm really honest, one of his deepest fears was that I were going to leave him. And when that came out, I'm like, I'm not going to leave you. But that was a real thing for him, because of experiences he'd had where I had left him years ago before we got back together, and other girlfriends had done that to him. And when we unpicked that and I reassured him that I'm not going anywhere, that I love him, that I'm going to stick by him, that were one less thing to kind of focus on. And we just became intentional on being there for each other. And for me, having empathy over sometimes, some days, it just needs time to think and process things, and less is more from my point of view. So actually over time it was really challenging, but now, and he went on medication for a while, and his advice to anybody that may be suffering with mental health is go and see a doctor, listen to the signs and symptoms, and if you're starting to overthink or feel a bit anxious or even having panic attacks, go to the doctors and just be really honest with them and take on their advice. If they say go for some cognitive behavioural therapy or some counselling, then go for it, because having mental health issues is not something to be ashamed of. It's just an indicator that something's not quite functioning internally, and there is assistance out there. And for a while Richard did take medication, and I think he almost felt guilty for that, like he couldn't solve it himself. But medication, we're so blessed that we actually have access to medication, because if you're in Africa with mental health issues, tough. It doesn't take the medication anymore. And as I said, we've really learnt to be there for each other, and I've learnt to see the signs and symptoms and get him to speak about things that may be on his mind and reassure him. And yeah, things are better, but it's really helped me, I suppose, to be able to help other women or men that may be going through what I've been through, and being the partner of somebody with mental health problems, just to say don't take it personal, support them by just listening sometimes, not saying anything but just listening, and just even though you may get a vibe that they don't want to be loved and held close, actually they do. So just comfort them and be kind. So once again, thank you for listening, and I do want to bring to your attention the fact that when you buy one of these you get one for free, so it could be a gift for somebody else or one for you and your partner, and £6 goes to Mind. And thank you.